Hey guys, it's Hannah here, and today I have a speed reviews video for you. So I have done quite a few hauls in the last few months, and I wanted to give you kind of a wrap-up speed reviews on some of the products. Now, if you want to see these kind of videos more regularly, I do a series called What I Wore, and that kind of is like my makeup basket review. So I kind of review the products I've been trying and testing in the month. But I wanted to kind of do this more speed review style because the Sephora sale is coming up and most of these things came from Sephora, and I wanted to give you my opinions on them, so please stay tuned if that sounds interesting to you. We are going to start with the huge Sephora order I placed ages ago. I think this video came out in like June. And I have some opinions on the products. Let's start with the skincare, and let's start with the Pharmacy Brighten Up 3% TXA Dark Spot Toner with azelaic acid and PHA. Now, I kind of already gave you a kind of mini update on this in my most recent haul, but my skin doesn't love this toner, at least not in the morning. So I use this in kind of in place of a BHA toner in the morning, thinking that it's winter, I don't need the oil control, I don't break out as much, but this still has the azelaic acid, which is good for breakouts, and I wanted to do still some sort of toning in the morning. My skin just wasn't a fan of this in that sense. I'm going to keep it around because once I finish my current nighttime acid, I want to see if it works in that spot in my routine, which I use an acid at night twice a week. So I'm wondering if this will be better in that spot. So I'm going to try it and see. But for me, I'm not sold on it so far. We'll see if it ends up in an empties or if it ends up getting decluttered. But so far, I'm pretty unimpressed with this pharmacy product, which is crazy because I love pharmacy. But a pharmacy product I do love is the 10% niacinamide night mask. This is a really cool jelly texture. So I love a gel texture moisturizer. It really suits my combination skin. And this is like, can't even take the lid off. It feels kind of like very, almost sticky, but not in a bad way. It's got some, yeah, I don't know. It feels great on the skin. It's really soothing. I use this on the nights I use retinol, and my skin is just really hydrated, really bouncy, and really soft when I wake up. And I really like this product. My skin really likes niacinamide, but I know other people who skin doesn't. So yeah, obviously your skin has to like niacinamide to like this product. But if your skin does like niacinamide, I think this is a fantastic moisturizer. And it's a nice treatment product. The other moisturizer I picked up was the Skin Fix Barrier Plus Skin Barrier Restoring Gel Cream. This is beautiful. So this is again a kind of gel consistency, but it is a little bit thicker. I'm going to try and only get a little bit out. See if you can kind of see the texture. So it is very lightweight on the skin. So that's what it looks like. I don't even know if you can see that. But as you can see, it's very kind of watery, which is what my skin loves. It's something that kind of really is really nourishing, but really lightweight, which is what this does. So this is what I've been, my nighttime routine. Oh, I should have brought the other moisturizers. My nighttime routine has been a rotation of 3 moisturizers. And the third moisturizer is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. Now, I've decided to pan this because my skin does not like this moisturizer. If you saw that haul, I basically bought it for the packaging because it is the Disney 100 Tinkerbell packaging, and it's beautiful. But the moisturizer itself is not great for my skin. So I kind of use that 2 nights a week. So this is how my night routines work. 2 nights a week I use an acid. 2 nights a week I use a chemical exfoliant, and then the other 3 nights I use a vitamin C. So on the nights I use the vitamin C, I've been using the Skin Fix. On the nights I use my retinol, I've been using the Pharmacy, and on the nights I use my acid, I've been using the Charlotte Tilbury. So I've been using it like 2 nights a week, and it sounds like it was a lot, but I tried to just use the Charlotte Tilbury all the other nights that weren't retinol nights, and it just broke me out. So by adding in the Skin Fix, it has decreased that chance, and the vitamin C I use is more hydrating, so putting a lighter moisturizer with that works quite well for me. Like my nighttime skincare routine is currently a cocktail, but my skin really likes it, so I'm going to stick with it. So if you have combo to oily skin, I think this is definitely something to keep an eye out for. I think it also has niacinamide in it. The packaging is like BPA free, and it's 26% recycled plastic, which I think is awesome. Yes, if you have combo oily skin, I think that this is a moisturizer you should definitely check out if it's in your price range. I think anybody whose skin likes niacinamide should try the Pharmacy, because I know that Jessica Braun has dry skin. I have more combo skin, and I think this would work great on anyone. The Charlotte Tilbury I just don't recommend because I don't think it's fantastic. And you want me to rant about why I don't think it's worth it, go and watch that haul video. And this is meant to be speed reviews. This is going to be very long, I think. All right, let's talk about some complexion products. I picked up 3 concealers in that haul, and I gave you a quick rundown on these in my most recent, what I wore in September. So let's start with the OAS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. This is a really nice concealer. I really like it. I've got the shade LM3, which is crazy to think that I don't have the lightest shade in this. But it has a nice thin wand, and it's just got a really good coverage to it, but it's still nice and thin. So we're going to talk about another concealer that has incredible coverage, but is a little bit thicker. Whereas this concealer really blends into the skin quite seamlessly. I don't know if you can see that, I'm sorry. I'm playing around with my lighting to see if it is going to get better or not. We'll see how we go. But it just blends into the skin really smoothly. It's got a little bit of hydration to it, but it does set down enough for me who needs to set my skin. I still set it with a powder, but I think you could probably get away with not, which is awesome. Sorry, I have some sad puppies. I'll be back. I'm filming when no one else is home, which like never happens. So he doesn't quite know what to do with himself, but the door's going to be open and he'll figure out what he wants to do, and he's gone. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that was the OAS Triple Fix Concealer. One of the other concealers I bought was the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer in Birch. Now this is the one that is very full coverage. So you need a very small amount of this one. Otherwise I can imagine it gets quite cakey. Now this one also sets down. It is a lighter shade than I would like, but not so light that it's like insane. You're gonna cry again. Oh buddy. It's not having a good day today. So this one sets down even faster. So this one I could probably get away with not powdering at all, but it is a fuller coverage, so I, again, still would. Need to be careful with this one to not over apply, but this is the one I would purchase in full size. Like I would repurchase this concealer. I think it's that fantastic, even though it's a little bit finicky. Like the result is amazing. What I'm glad I've retried, but I don't think I'd repurchase, is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I just think concealers have come a long way since this was amazing. And I think these other 2 concealers are testaments to that. I like this concealer. There's nothing wrong with this concealer. It's got good coverage, it blends, it stays well. It's that one there. I don't even know if you can see the fact that I have 3 different concealers. They're 3 different colors. This is vanilla. It's nice. It's a nice concealer, but it doesn't wow me. And I'm really glad I picked up a mini in that one rather than a full size, because yeah, I'd use it, but it's not something that I'm like, yes, I need it. Okay. Sticking with base products, I bought 4 powders. I only have enough information on 2 of them to give you my opinions on. because I haven't used the other two enough. And that tells you that this was a bit ridiculous. Pure 4-in-1 Pressed Mineral Makeup. I really like this. This was a beautiful powder foundation. Now, my favorite powder foundation currently is the One Size powder foundation. I think it is phenomenal. This is pretty close. I think it's very nice. The texture of the powder isn't as smooth as the One Size, which I think is my biggest kind of point to it. But it's got really nice coverage. It wears quite well as a powder foundation. And I'm quite happy with it. It was a cult product and I think it deserved that cult following. Something that I don't love, strangely from One Size Beauty, I love all the other products I've tried from them. But this one is the Ultimate Setting Powder. And this is just one of those translucent powders that can take away the coverage of your base. I've had this happen with a couple of powders in the past. The one that sticks out to me is the Jeffree Star powder, where it just kind of, depending on how you apply it, it like removes coverage from your cheeks. And I know that can happen to some people. So it's a fine powder, I'll use it up, but it's not something I'd repurchase because it is that kind of finicky powder. I'd rather just purchase one that I know works for me. All right, gonna skip to a different haul, but still in the base products. I should have talked about this with the concealers. This is the Sigma Spectrum Color Correcting Duo in light to medium. Now, if you are medium, I don't think this is gonna be dark enough for you. I think this should be called fair to light. Because for true color correction, you need it to be similar to your skin tone. And the darker shade of these two is actually my correct color correcting shade. And I'm quite fair. I am quite a fair skin tone. So the lighter shade is great for brightening, whereas the darker shade is my perfect actual color correcting shade. So what I do is I use the dark one on the inner corner to actually color correct, and then I use the lighter one on the outer corner to lift and brighten. So for me, I think this should be called fair to light, and I'd hope that the darker shade is darker, just in terms of actual color correction, because you don't want to have your color correcting to be too bright, then you end up having reverse raccoon eye, which means it still brings light, like it highlights your darkness in a weird way. It's just something that can be done. But the product itself is beautiful. So that's my only qualm about it, is the fact that it's called light to medium. The product is beautiful. I think that this product, pan-wise, is better than the Bobbi Brown pan. If this color works for you, I think this is better than the Bobbi Brown in terms of the pan, consistency. I'm currently using the stick Bobbi Brown, and I'm currently liking that a little bit more because it's a little bit drier. But if you need that hydration under the eyes, this is a beautiful formula. It's not so as hydrating as the Smashbox Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector that I think is too hydrating. But I think the light tone of this will give you a similar effect to that with a little bit more coverage. I think this is a fantastic product, and I understand why so many people like it. I just think that saying that medium skin tones can use this for color correcting is a little bit off. That's just my thought. Cheeks, let's talk about some cheek products. The L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Bronzer. This is beautiful. Simple as that. This is the lighter shade, so this is the shade Fair, and it is the lightest bronzer that I own. And I think that helps lend itself to how easily it blends into the skin, is the fact that the tone is so good. But because it's like the Infallible range, it is like using a pressed powder to bronze. So it really just gives you a natural color, which I think is what these powders do really well. The color is very natural and really smooth going onto the skin, and the powder doesn't get as patchy. I think because it's very similar to a powder foundation formula. I think this is really nice, and I recommend it. However, if you can splurge, I think the tone of the Pat McGrath Nude Honey Bronzer is exceptional. The tone of this bronzer is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Particularly on fairer skin. I think formula-wise, they're pretty on par. But the colour of this bronzer is unmatched. This is nice because it's fair and it blends in really easily. The tone of this is so natural on the skin. I cannot describe it. If you are fair, you cannot get this on the Sephora website. I'm sorry. You have to get this on the Pat McGrath website. But wait till she has a sale and pick up Nude Honey because the colour of this is phenomenal. Is the formula exceptional? No. It's on par with the L'Oreal. It's a good formula, but the tone of this is what makes it so phenomenal. It's incredible. However, I would not waste your time picking up the highlighter, particularly in Lunar Allure. So I picked up 2 highlighters at the same time in this order, and this one just didn't wow me. Is it fine? Yes. It is I should have swatched the bronzers, I'm sorry. It is a perfectly fine highlighter, but it is a very traditional highlighter formula. It is a very traditional highlighter formula. It's got some sparkle in it, and I think it's just something we've seen over and over again. It's nothing special. The other highlighter I picked up was the Natasha Denona Super Glow. And I think that when this came out, it was really special. Because this highlighter gives you the wet look highlight. Whereas the Pat McGrath gives you the traditional kind of sparkly, shimmery highlight. The Natasha Denona gives you the wet look. So that's that one here, and that one is the Pat McGrath. This one gives you the wet look. And I think when it came out, it was the only one that gave you that wet look. But now you can get that wet look more readily. So to me, it's not as kind of wow as I think it was. But it is, I think, a more flattering texture than the Pat McGrath. Just because it is more of that wet look sheen rather than the visible mica in the Pat McGrath. So to me, I would recommend the Natasha Denona over the Pat McGrath. But that's just... But I still don't think the Natasha Denona is something you need. I think if you have wet look highlighters in your collection, you probably don't need the Natasha Denona. Let's keep going with the Natasha Denona because there's plenty of it. The Natasha Denona Rose Cheek Duo. So I got this little mini in a Sephora favorite set. And I liked it so much that I bought not only the Super Glow, but the Glam Face and Eye Palette. This cream blush formula is quite impressive. I don't love cream blushes. Because of my combo skin, I do have to set with a lot of powder, and I find a lot of cream blushes don't always work with that, though there are more coming out that do. But this is one that works really well over a set base. And I was very impressed. And the highlight is again that wet look highlight. So because of that, I picked up the highlighter, but I also picked up the Glam Face and Eye Palette. Now I was already considering picking this up at some point, because I love Natasha Denona eyeshadows, but the fact that it had the highlighter and blush in here, I was a little bit unsure, particularly about the blush. So this is the Fair Light shade, yes, the light, and the blush just is a little bit deep, and it had me a little bit concerned. And this formula is not the same as the Rose Cheek Duo, which, there we go. You've really got to work it because it's not sealed as well. It's only got the flat. It ends up being a little bit drier in texture. So you either have to work through that dryness, like I just did, or deal with the fact that it's a little bit drier. But the fact that it's a little bit drier means it goes over powders a little bit easier. So I'm fine with it. It can build up a lot quite quickly. So I have had an instance where I got a little bit clown-like, but I was able to tone it down. The highlighter in this palette is almost a mix of the Natasha Denona and the Pat McGrath. It's got a bit of sparkle, it's got a bit of wet look, but it's not quite either of them. It's a very different formula than the standard Super Glow. But these shadows, particularly the sparkly shades, are beautiful. No, the mattes are phenomenal as well. I made an all matte look with this and I loved it. But the shimmery sparkles are fantastic. I'm assuming this is a similar texture to the sparkly shades we're going to get in that we have in the I Need a Nude, which I will pick up at some point. But I love the formula of Natasha Denona shadows. And these 5 are phenomenal. I actually like them even more than the Mini Starlet. I think the tones in this just are a slight bit off. I love my Natasha Denona minis, but I think that the Rhea shade is too warm for the rest of the palette. So that's the quite a coppery shade, and it feels beautiful, but I just think it is too warm with the cool mattes. You're going to get quite a contrasting look. And unless you know how to work with the contrasting colors, I think it's a little bit tricky. So I only used that shade once, and I used it and the middle Vega shade, and that was it. I much prefer going for Nude Mauve and Galaxia and then deepening with Per Se. But I think if this was a cooler toned shimmer, this palette would be a little bit more cohesive. It feels like it's 2 palettes, which it kind of is. It's the, what is it? The Mini Retro and the Starlet. And the Star. I think if they'd just gone, and the Star in itself is 2 palettes basically. But it's not my favorite. I love Galaxia. Galaxia is phenomenal. And Nude Mauve is phenomenal. But like that is kind of my go-to look. So I'll put Nude Mauve all over the lid and into the crease, and then tap Galaxia on top. And I think that's my favorite look. But I just think it could be a little bit more cohesive. And I just like the neutrals of the Glam Face and Eye better. But I'm very ready for the I Need a Nude. Alright, let's go back to cheeks, because I have one more cheek product, and that is the Buxom Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush in Seychelles. It has taken me so long to actually pick this blush up, and I don't know why, because it is phenomenal. It is that I don't know what to wear blush. Put this on, it lasts all day. It's like the updated version of Tarte's Exposed. I think this is nicer than Tarte's Exposed. Where is Tarte's Exposed? I have it. Tarte's Exposed was always my, I don't know what to wear, I wear this. They're very similar, very similar. This just has a slight sheen to it. So I think it's that little bit more flattering on more skin types and textures. Because of that sheen, it kind of blends a little bit smoother. But it's not so glowy that you're wearing a highlighting blush. It wears beautifully. The tone is going to swatch like nothing and look really boring. But it's one of those ones where you put it on the cheeks and it just does beautiful things. Alright, eyes. The Lawless Hold Up Soft Set Creamy Brow Wax. I don't love this as much as other people do. And it could be the fact that other people like that it doesn't deposit as much colour. I have it on with fresh tinted brows today and I really like it. But when I was using it like the last little bit, when my brows really were in desperate need of being done, and I was using pencil and then this, I felt like I wasn't getting enough product on it, on the wand and then on my brow. Which is what people love, is that this doesn't overly do up their brows. So I will use it up. It's a nice product. It's just not my favorite and not something I would repurchase. Something else is not my favorite and I wouldn't repurchase is the Pat McGrath Sublime Smoke Mini Eyeshadow Palette. It's fine. And for the fact that it's a mini palette, you get some good shades. And it's fine. But I don't think it's something you need to go out and get. I think that, particularly at the moment, save your money and grab one of the 5 pans coming out for Christmas. But I think Pat McGrath is just finding it a little bit hard with her colour stories at the moment. The problem is I barely use that top, like what I'm seeing as the top row. The bottom row is perfect every day, but the top row I just don't wear regularly. And that's fine. That's me. And I like that they're smaller palettes, but I would just get a Viseart Edit over this. I think the quality is better. And you get more shades. Essence Nothing Compares to Nude. This is really pretty. For being like a $5 palette, not even, this is really pretty. And if you like just soft looks, this is really nice. If you don't want to think about it, just a soft look every day, this is really good. I recommend it. If you want more bold looks, it's not going to get there for you. It's all very light. Even this darkest shade isn't particularly dark on the eye. It's all very light. It's nude. But it's pretty. And for $5, I think it's definitely worth having a go. Or trying one of their coloured ones. If you want to try some colour, try the coloured ones. I haven't tried them myself, but... About Face Fractal Eye Paint in Tin Pan Alley. This is like a Steal, a Glitter and Glow, and a Shimmer and Glow had a baby. And I'm all for it. It has a white base, but you can blend it so that it is more the glitter and the base kind of disappears, which is what I usually do. And it's just a really refined sparkle. It's really quite a refined sparkle. It's a gold glitter, which I like. But it's really quite nice. I think that's a great purchase. And then lips, I've got 3 nude lip products. The NARS Afterglow Sequin Shine Lipstick? Sensual Shine Lipstick in Breathless. Now this is a traditional kind of balmy lipstick. And it's very pretty. The colour is quite warm, so be aware of that. I didn't think it was this warm, I thought it was more neutral. But it is kind of your traditional shiny lipstick. It's twist up, twist down. Pretty, not phenomenal. I prefer one of these kind of more recent clicky stick, like full thickness. I need to apply that because there's more product than I went for. The kind of full thickness, basically a melted lip gloss. Like the Makeup by Mario. This is Nude Glow. So this one doesn't have shimmer, but he has some that do. And I just find this kind of formula. I prefer this kind of formula. It is what it is. And it could just be that that's what's out at the moment. But I feel like I've liked this for a very long time. Like I've loved it since the Marc Jacobs. So even before we had the Tarte, like this was my kind of formula. So while I like this one, I feel like the shine wears off much faster. And it's just nowhere near as comparable to like, look at that. And then we have the Pat McGrath Satin Allure lipsticks. And this is in Nude Desire. And this is a true satin lipstick. So like, see how it almost has the same, amount of shine as the NARS. The NARS has a little bit more. But it is pretty close. This is probably my favorite traditional lipstick formula that I've tried recently. It's really comfortable. The color's great. It's Nude Allure. I actually really like it. The packaging is cheap. The packaging feels cheap, particularly for Pat McGrath. I have one of her matte trance lipsticks and the packaging is so much more luxe. But I actually really like this formula. which is very strange. I haven't loved a traditional lipstick formula in quite a while, but this one's probably my favourite. I do like the Makeup by Mario more than this because this is the formula I'm going for with this gloss stick. But in terms of a traditional lipstick, I really like this. The NARS I think you could leave unless you like that traditional shiny lipstick, but in which case, I don't know. It's fine, it's just not amazing. Now the last two things are kind of tools-esque. This is the Sigma and Christian Dominique brush set. I love these brushes. I've been using all of them except one that I somehow lost. This is the setting powder brush, and I've used it for setting powder and powder foundation. I really like it. This is just my kind of shape of brush. Super soft, super beautiful. The all over face precision, you can see I've used for blush, and I've really liked this for blush. It just has given me a really soft, diffused look. Gorgeous. Probably not put these away anymore. The eye and nose contour, I've used this for outer corner work mainly. And it's like a more pinch version of the E something that I talked about in that video. Really like that. The face contour I've used to set my under eyes, and it's quite nice. The one I haven't used is the one I thought I'd use the most, which is the Brighten and Bake. I might use this try this for highlight because I've been using the Angled Cheek and it's just flared out a little bit too much for highlight. But I might try this one for highlight and see how it goes and move this to my blush section and see how we go. But they're really gorgeous brushes. I love Sigma brushes and it was nice to try some new ones. And then finally we have the Kiss Impress Press On Falsie No Glue Needed lashes. Now I've only used these once, but these are amazing. As someone who can't wear false lashes due to my glasses most of the time, these are great. Because they sit under the lashes, they don't flick up and hit my glasses, which is great. They don't irritate my lashes, my eyes, which I can sometimes get from strip lashes and glue. And they stayed really well. There's a little bit of a learning curve to how to apply them, but I think once you have that down, these are amazing. I wish we could get them easily here. I got mine on Amazon. They're great. I really like these. Alright, so how speedy was that speed reviews? I'm not so sure, but I hope this has helped you in giving you my opinions on some of these products, particularly with the Sephora sale coming up. Most of these products are available at Sephora, so if you're thinking about it, these are my thoughts. I am going to do a recommendations video and a wish list video, so stay tuned for that. But please, if you'd like to see more of these videos, give me a thumbs up. Again, I do kind of mini speed reviews in my What I Wore series, so check that out. Let me know if you want more in-depth information on any of these products or anything that you think I should try out based on what I've said today. And click subscribe to stay tuned for more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.